have to pay a premium to enjoy the void space that comes along with this penthouse unit. This entire project.
Something that's very interesting is that on this particular step, which is step number 1, arrival drop-off point, you have a gym plus. So we're gonna head in. Let's go.
Mission control, we have liftoff.
Episode of our new launch banter review, and today we are going to bring to you a small boutique development project in D19. And joining me in the studio today are Ramzi and Lyndon.
Hello everyone.
Hi guys.
Right, so today we're going to cover this boutique development. I mean, I think for the past few reviews, we have been covering quite large developments. I think easily more than 100 units. Today and probably the next episode, we're going to cover something that's smaller. First of the two, today this is the project called Jansen House. It's located in D19 in the Kovan enclave. Not really in the middle, but I think more towards the side, closer towards the Upper Serangoon side.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe for a start, let's have Ramzi to share with us the project information.
Alright, so like what Win mentioned, this used to be Jensen Mansions. Now it is going to be launched as Jansen House.
Yeah, so they bought over, right?
Yeah, they bought over back in I think June 2022 via public tender, bought by Mackley Group, and now they are launching it as a brand new boutique project. Total number of stories you can see is 5 stories. So later on we will share a bit more about the elevation charts. So you get to see further. Okay, they have increased the number of units to 21 units. Tenure of land is 999 from 1876. And the expected TOB date is actually about the first half of 2027, around there. Yeah, but we can expect legal completion to be around end of first half of about 2030. Yeah. So total number of parking lots is 18, which is still quite a good number of parking lots, especially when it comes to boutique projects. Yeah. So yeah, and of course we have 2 lifts that service the whole entire building lah.
Yep. So I think the difference in the kind of like vacant possession and legal completion is generally the legal completion is usually where they already build a CSC.
Yep.
Then they will basically call for the legal completion. So just to take note of that, usually most of us we will just be more particular about the day that it's a vacant possession date, which is the day that you are able to go and collect your keys.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
So maybe just to address something also, because we on the ground recently, some of my listings, right, talking about en bloc and all that kind of thing. So just a bit of info sharing. If you realize that Jensen Mansion previously, before they bought over, right, was a 12-unit development. So developers, when they look towards en bloc, right, they are very particular. It has to be at least, I would say, easily about 1.5 times. That's why we are having Jansen House now at 21 units.
Yep.
So it has to make sense for them.
It only makes sense in terms of economical of scale. You know,
Correct.
when they want to put in the money there to develop, they must be able to sell more in a way.
Yes.
Right. So in terms of location-wise, I think just to pinpoint, this is basically from the brochure. We can see that Jansen House is actually located right over here. Kovan MRT station is just around this corner. Within the 500 meters radius, of course, you'll be very close towards the Serangoon swimming complex. If you're familiar with the area, next shopping mall is just right around the corner. So this is basically the whole entire Kovan enclave. Very near towards the Leaf Road. We are along the Jansen Road itself. This previously is the Jensen Mansion, as what Lyndon has shared. So pulling out the street directory map, I think it'll be more clearer in the sense of where we are located. So this is the main Serangoon Road, and this is the main Yio Chu Kang Road, right? This is actually a slip road towards the Kovan Road, and Kovan MRT station is right around the corner. So this is, I think, in the whole entire Kovan enclave, this is the part where it's very unique in the sense where if you're talking about D19, generally if you're a landed buyer, D19, you'll be looking at D19, and within D19 you have two big boys. I think of course the top of the range will actually be in the Serangoon Garden enclave, where it is a dedicated landed zone. So which means that in Serangoon Garden, that's the only place where you can only find landed homes without this kind of like small developments popping up.
Yes.
And on the flip side of it, Kovan, it's also another place where people go for the landed house itself, but because it's not landed zone, which is why you will have pockets of developments which is like small boutique developments coming out in an enclave, and then beside you will probably be also like landed homes, which is what you see in this whole entire landscape right here.
Yeah. Correct.
Right.
So if you see the Coven landed enclave, or you can call it the Coven enclave, generally you see there are more boutique projects if you compare it to Serangoon Gardens area, which is a protected landed zoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the notable ones would be like your Bentley, which is like closer towards your Upper Serangoon Road. And then you have your Palm Grove, which is one of the bigger development around in the area, your Palm Haven and stuff like this. So I think in a way, definitely when you're staying inside there, it's definitely quiet.
Yeah.
You won't get much of a road noise.
Yeah.
And the thing about this Jansen House is that you're not located really deep inside the Coven enclave where, coming out will be a hassle. You're just probably about minutes away from the Yio Chu Kang Road, which is there's a bus stop right there as well, which then brings you to, I believe, will be like next shopping mall or even out to Coven Estate as well. So the main developments in the Coven area will actually be along around the Coven MRT station, where you will see your likes of your Coven Melody, Coven Residences, right? And all these are the big developments lah.
Yeah.
Right.
So just to point out also, and just to add on, if we look at Jansen House, right, those who are familiar in that area, right, you will realize that there are some main roads. Number one, within that landed enclave, we are talking about Highland Road,
Right.
Simon Walk, and these are usually the higher traffic area. But for Jansen, you will realize that we do not have any through roads. So majority of people going into that Jansen Road will be people that's only purely staying there. So like what Wayne mentioned, it's just going to be a very more
Quiet.
serene,
Yeah,
Very
right.
tranquil
more
lah.
serene
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. You won't have people passing by your road just to get to another part of the main
Correct,
street,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. So developer-wise, I think this is it's not a small developer, I would say, but I think they are quite well known in the market. Mackley Group, right?
Very
Yeah.
reputable.
So just to share a bit, Mackley Group, I would say they are definitely local developer, and they have focused a lot of projects in the locality. So when I was reading out about their portfolio previously,
So many brands.
yeah, you will be shocked to know that they actually have over 33 local projects,
Right.
2 overseas projects, even 7 hospitality projects.
Right.
And when we talk about hospitality projects, they are one of the, I would say, the key person for this chain of hospitality called Lloyd's Inn. Personally, my partner, my wife, has been always nagging to stay at Lloyd's Inn because it's so renowned, and then it's a boutique hotel, but a lot of influencers go there to see the difference in their setup, difference of the staying and the culture lah.
Right.
So I was just diving deep into it, right? You'll notice that those 2 new at Novena and the Ivera, both of them are still under construction, but they have already sold out. In totality, we're looking at about 1,811 units throughout their entire portfolio, and they have been founded since 1987. That translates to about 0.9 project per year. And to have even that close of a feat, right? I think in a landscape in Singapore, right, it's quite amazing. So I think in terms of credibility, they are there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those who are looking towards them, trying to find credibility in the developer, I think it's not too bad also. Just a bit of comparisons. So the big names, CDL, Oxley, Hong Leong and all that. So if you zoom in, right, you realize that CDL, of course, is known. Everyone knows it.
Right.
Over 60 years in the real estate industry. And they have only about 48,000 homes. So, yeah, I think they are not as comparable to the big boys, but they have quite a substantial area. 33 projects. Oxley has 51 projects. Of course, it varies differently in size.
Yeah,
I'm
of
guessing
course.
because of quantum also. Same as Hong Leong. So these are some of the numbers that I was able to pull out to really understand whether is it, having 0.9 project per year since you're being founded, it's quite a track record proven
Yeah.
also.
So I think the brand itself is definitely a brand for its own. I think they are also known to build good projects. And I think one very important factor is that they are also a homegrown brand.
Yep.
It's like a father and daughter combination
Yep.
partnership. I think right now it's being helmed mostly by the daughter. She's running the show mostly. And I believe this Jansen House is also one of the fruit of her labor. And this is actually one of the article that was being done by HProp covering Mackley Group. And I think this particular paragraph resonates out in terms of the positioning and the motivation behind Jansen House. And why we say that is because most of the time, if you have been looking at PropertyLimBrothers coverage and our Nuggets on the Go, whenever we talk about development size, we always talk about big developments, big scale developments, largely because there will be transactions and there will be price movement, and henceforth there will be a higher chance of appreciation in the development. But what the developer brought up, Joanne brought up, is that she said that they know that there is definitely a niche group of buyers who are looking for a certain type of lifestyle. And in her words, she said that there may be not everybody who wants to live in a big development with a few hundred units, and there will be still people who likes to go for a boutique development, largely for the kind of like size, for the kind of like exclusivity. And having that belief actually points them into the direction of why they developed Jansen House to be just a 21 units development. But I think on top of that, they put in a lot of attention to the kind of like offerings within a unit, which we will share later on, the kind of design, the kind of like lifestyle. And it actually has an identity, which is important for every development, because if you are just a development that just build houses, units, and it's basically like those kind of like off the rack kind of like design, then there's no identity to that. You can't attract a certain group of buyers who wants to go for that kind of brand, right?
So just to add on to what Wayne said, I think to make it very clear in this episode is that we are purely looking at it from a kind of lifestyle point of view. And it's not about, hey, am I going to earn like 20-30% in the future when I flip it within the next 5 years. It's really, because I have had buyers personally that they say that, hey, Lyndon, to me, property is not an investment. To me, I just want to find a location that's near my parents, nearby, affordable within my budget, and then relatively new, so I don't need to worry about breakdowns and all that kind of thing. And I'm more than happy.
And I think generally that is the approach when buyers or not investors, but buyers out there, when they're looking at boutique projects, generally it is more directed towards own stay, lifestyle kind of thing. So I think the fact that Mackley Group is really focusing on the lifestyle, understanding the generation today, the trends, what we like, what we prefer, what we don't prefer. I think later on when we go through the floor plans as well, we see what are some of the trends that they have also applied into their floor plans, like that you see that is quite in trend, that is with what people are looking for today.
But at the same time, we're going to be as objective as possible.
Of
to keep it real, and like this is purely just our thoughts also.
Right.
Yeah.
So in terms of, just a quick brief about, your amenities and the things that is around Jansen House. Of course, your shopping complex, you will have your Next shopping mall, your Heartland Mall, My Village, which is located in the Serangoon Gardens area. So dining wise, schools. Okay, so for schools, you will be 1 kilometer from Zhonghua Primary School. So I believe that's the only primary school that's around that 1 kilometer's range. Of course, if you're going to higher educational, then of course you have your Pace High Secondary School, which is around your Serangoon area, and of course your rest of the other like Bowen and stuff like that. So in terms of the Nanyang Junior College, you also are within quite close proximity as well. So I would say that staying in Kovan Enclave, I don't think you'll be short of amenities. Heartland Mall is just right around the corner. Over there you have your wet market, your hawker center, your shopping complex, your supermarket, all is around the area. Next, we don't have to say much already. It's like a mega mall of the northeast.
Too busy. I think the only sad part about this is that if I was a buyer, if I was staying there, right, I would have a hope for like maybe, how PLMGS is one of the more sought after schools also, Rosai, to be within 1 km or so. But ultimately you are in a good enclave, and like what Wayne mentioned, I'm also a big fan of Heartland Mall.
You're a big fan of Heartland Mall.
Yeah. They have expanded tremendously though.
True.
Quite a lot of things right there right now.
But Heartland Mall doesn't have basement parking, right?
But you can park open air car.
But open air is one thing. Personally, I'm a fan of Next. I do know that the footfall there. I do know that the footfall there is tremendous. It's
Next is
too much.
But
Next has everything you need, basically. It really has everything you need.
But you're in a good spot, I would say. You're in a good spot, definitely. Right.
You have the option to go to either or.
So now looking at the development, because it's a small scale development, the real estate space is very limited. It's not like those kind of big developments where you have a very large land area, you can have all your facilities in a lower level, right? So usually for a boutique development, the facilities will generally be either on rooftop or they'll be split across multiple levels. So likewise for this Jansen house, you can see that in terms of square area, it's not that big, and henceforth most of the facilities, in fact half of it, are all located on a roof terrace space. So like your main pool will be on roof terrace space. You have your play area, and in fact you have 2 reading rooms, one on the upper level and one on the lower level. And I think that's also something that they are looking at, is to create that kind of like I think more like a co-working space for you to live your home and then to work and be near to the nature, like, in a way. So this is basically how it looks like when when the floor plans were being laid out in a way that the stacks is being distributed across the floor plate, right? So maybe Ramzi, you want to like share a little bit about this?
Yeah. So basically, you can see the whole entire one level of floor plate. You get 5 units over here, and if you can see how they actually position the 4-bedders, the 3-bedders, and the 2-bedders stack over there, it is quite unique in the sense that, okay, so first and foremost, if you were to take a look at the whole site plan, north facing would be diagonally to your right.
Which is here.
Yeah. So north facing would be there, and the developer actually positioned all the units in such a way where as much as possible, they want to try and minimize the west facing, the afternoon sun. So as you can see over here, much of the bedrooms and the living rooms are all facing either north, east, or south. Yeah. So so you can see the stack number 1. You can see the bedrooms are at least not direct west facing as much as possible, and the balcony is also put to the corner over there. Yeah. And then you can see for stack number 5 also, none of the bedrooms and the living room is actually directly facing towards the west. Yeah.
I think it's very important to have it laid out in that manner, so that at least the whole entire energy usage within hotel development is also very optimized in a way.
Yeah, correct.
So let's take a look at the unit distribution. So we know that there are 21 units right there. I would say that half being shared between 3-bedders and 4-bedders. So they have 9 units each, and then of course you only have 3 units of 2-bedders. In terms of the layout per floor levels, you have spread across the first level all the way to 5th level. Of course, on the first level, you only have 2 bedroom types, which is the 4-bedder and the 3-bedder. The 2-bedders will actually be in stack number 5 that starts only from level 3 onwards. So you have 3, 4, 5 for the 2-bedders, and then this will be your 3-bedders, 3-bedders, and the 4-bedders, 4-bedders.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of the estimation of the maintenance fee, this is something that we get. It's just like a ballpark figure. Things will change eventually when it's launched, but you will be looking at pretty much, because it's a boutique development, henceforth, your sharing of the cost will be a bit higher. So your 2-bedders is looking at estimation of about $450 per month. Same wise for your 3-bedders. And once you hit the 4-bedders, you have about $525 per month. This is just an estimation of what you're going to get. Alright, so now let's take a look at the floor plans. So we have laid that out from 2-bedders all the way to 5-bedders. For 2-bedders, you have only one type of floor plan, which is the 721 square feet in stack number 5. So this is the one as what Ramzi has mentioned is on the other side, where the master bedroom is actually facing towards the entrance of the road, which is at Jensen Road. So this is the master bedroom side. You can see that it's actually we call it a dumbbell layout.
Yeah, dumbbell layout.
This is getting very popular in 2024. We are seeing a lot of developers coming out with a dumbbell layout for 2-bedders. And the interesting thing is that for 721 square feet, it also comes with a home shelter, which is quite alright. I mean, you get a dedicated storage space right in the unit. But one interesting trend that we are starting to see, in fact, personally, what I've seen, because I've just covered one of the show flat shoot streets at Juchet last week. And when I was looking at the floor plan, I look at this Jansen House floor plan, the balcony is something that is a new trend right now, where they are placing it right beside the kitchen to create a kind of like continuous flow from the kitchen into the balcony. And what I understood is that I think because of the change of lifestyle today, people like to move the dining table right into the balcony to create a kind of like alfresco dining space. And hence, by opening up more space within the living hall for maybe their family's gathering. So there's a stronger reason of them having a balcony right beside the kitchen. And specifically for this development, they purposefully designed this service window between the kitchen and the balcony, right? So it creates a kind of like continuity between the two spaces.
I feel right off the bat, right, when I was looking at this previously, right, first off, a 2-bedder, usually you get a kitchenette, But for this two-bedder, number one, you're getting an enclosed kitchen.
Right.
Yep.
Here.
Number two, once you enter through the main door, you're right smack in your living room. Because
Yep.
usually once you go through your main door, you're greeted with your kitchen also. And when just now we were discussing also and we were talking about it, we were wondering why maybe the developers have put the kitchen and the balcony together, right? It's because of piping, draining and all that.
Yep.
Trying to fit the dining where the smell can escape as best as possible. Ultimately, majority of Singaporeans, right, I would say they would prefer an enclosed kitchen.
Yep.
Especially if you are a family or you do quite a bit of cooking at home.
Yeah. And I would say this, okay, so if you look at this two-bedder floor plan over here, 721 square feet, which is a typical two-bedder size if you look at brand new TOP projects these days, 721 square feet. Usually, but then when you are looking at those mass market kind of condos, usually the two-bedders are actually tucked to one side. For this one, like what we mentioned, it's a dumbbell layout, so I feel that the 721 square feet can be efficiently, the size can be then efficiently optimized.
Right.
So as you can see straight off the bat when you enter, yes, you are facing the living room. I think one very smart thing that they do is also to put the household shelter right by the entrance of the door. Yeah, so I mean it's perfect if let's say you this is your storage area, you can put your bulky items over there. You don't have to drag it all across the house.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, because of the new concept of integrating the balcony space with the kitchen, you can see that the kitchen is actually now positioned quite into the unit already. Yeah, and the great thing is that they have kept it enclosed. And I think the third most important thing third unique thing that you can see is actually the master bedroom. So if you look at the master bedroom, right, this is actually a king size bed. Yeah, so they can actually fit in a queen size bed and still have lots of space. They have wardrobe there. A space dedicated to wardrobe. Still got lots of space for you to walk in between the wardrobe and your bedside. And then they've also carved out a space for a vanity table. So I would say that even though this is a two-bedder at 721 square feet, if you were to compare layout per se with mass market condos, or I would say the recently TOP condos, you can see, right, that this is more catered towards a more comfortable, cozy lifestyle. Yeah, you see the master bedroom, you have way more space than if you were to compare with a normal two-bedder master bedroom.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if I am to really nitpick on this floor plan, I mean, the standing area for the showering, I think, is a bit small.
Slightly smaller.
I mean, it's
slightly
like
smaller.
a little corner, like pretty much like a HDB kind, where you have a little sliding door on the left and right to go in.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of positive note on this kind of floor plans. I think number one is that it's very nice to see a kitchen right at the edge, because two-bedders usually kitchen is in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't really get ventilation. Number one. I think number two, common bathroom usually for two-bedders is also you don't have a ventilation
window,
as well. For this, you have a window here as well. There's leads into an AC ledge. So a lot of plus and positive points for this two-bedder layout right here. Yeah, but one interesting thing to note is also that the washer and dryer is also located in the dining hall area.
Yep.
And it's positioned here. I think either you have a washer dryer in the kitchen, occupying some very precious cabinetry space, and for this particular layout, they have it outside, which means like maybe it's like a little laundry corner in the living hall area.
But it's very interesting, I would say, because at 721 square feet with a household shelter, right?
Managed to fit and the balcony as well.
What would the space feel like at the show flat?
You will have to take a look at the show
Yeah,
plan.
take a look. But I mean, looking at the two bedrooms, the common bedroom can fit in a queen.
Yeah.
The master bedroom can fit in a king.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel this is
Quite refreshing.
Yeah, quite a refreshing two-bedder layout lah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now let's take a look at the three-bedder. So three-bedder, this is basically the one at stack number 3. So this unit, I would say that most of the rooms and the balcony and the living hall is all facing towards the direction of southeast direction.
Yeah.
So you don't get any kind of like west sun. You will probably get some morning sun coming to unit, but it is more like a rectangular, longitudinal kind of like layout. We come in, you have a huge living hall space, coupled with the dining hall, and if you have the sliding doors open up for the balcony, you have a enormous space right around here. I think that's also the kind of like design that they are pushing for this particular layout. Enclosed kitchen, 3 bedrooms, and I think this is pretty standard, I would say. Bathroom is stuck at the corner. But interestingly, for these 3-beders, the common bathroom doesn't come with a natural ventilation. So it's like a swap lah, in terms of like the kind of like placement of the bathroom. But you notice that in this particular floor plan for the master bedroom, they created this little like a walk-in closet kind of feel.
Yeah.
For this 3-bedder at 1033 square feet. You also have featured a day rack in the master bathroom. So if you're not sure what is a day rack, we have photos to show it to you later on. So that's what a day rack is. So likewise, living hall, balcony, 27 meters is what they promised in a brochure. So it's pretty, I would say, pretty spacious kind of layout.
Yeah. Like, okay. For this stack, I would say perhaps if I were to nitpick a bit, the 2 bathrooms don't have windows or natural ventilation in that sense.
Interesting.
And I think that is something to consider. I mean, especially if you're looking
I think the
for a
master
unit.
bath has a window.
Small
Oh, sorry, a
window,
small one.
small
Sorry,
window. Yeah, it's
very
just a
very small
common
one. Yeah,
bath.
very small. Yeah, but common bath that doesn't have. So I think this is something to consider as well, because usually you would want your bathroom areas to be
Ventilated
lah. But I'm pretty sure they will definitely install mechanical ventilation, and that will also help it in that sense.
We
Yeah.
were just discussing about these trellis just now before we start the show.
Yeah.
So they have a little trellis over here that's over the kitchen window lah. So I think in a way to offer some shade behind, then probably you have some like
Like,
crawling plants.
hang money plants,
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
money plants,
And
lemon tree and all that.
One thing that's unique is the position that they put the AC latch at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the good thing is now you don't get your AC latch in front of the bedrooms, which you can see in some other projects. Well, what we saw with the 2-bedder is that they actually position it behind the common bath over there. But for this 3-bedder stack over here, stack 3, they positioned it to be actually
at the
balcony.
kitchen
Yeah,
area.
and I'm pretty sure I think that's a wall, right? That's a wall that
Probably
separates
half-height wall lah.
half height wall lah.
Otherwise, you'll
yeah.
just obstruct your view.
Yeah,
And
correct.
I'm hoping that means that all the bedrooms get a full height window.
Yeah.
Likely.
Likely. So if you were to go down to the ground, you can see that actually on this side of the site plan, right, is actually a very low laying landed house lah. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, correct. So hopefully,
Yeah, should be.
yeah. So
full height.
So you can see the shadowing part. Yeah. So hopefully the bedrooms over there get full windows. Then you get to enjoy quite a bit of the views as well.
Right. So 3-bedder, this is the first of the 3 layout, right?
So when I was running through this, right, I was saying that this might be one of my favorite, one of my top picks lah. If I had to choose, one of my better. As you know, I'm a fan of landscape living. But after Wayne pointed out the washer and dryer in the living, right, I cannot get that out of my head. Imagining that.
It's just a little corner lah, at this side only lah.
Yeah. But my current washer and dryer in my house makes a lot of noise. Can you imagine if you're watching TV and then?
Yeah, it's a bit weird lah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
position of it to be at the living area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to see how they
Structure it in the actual
build
show
it in
flat.
the show flat or
Yeah,
what.
yeah, yeah.
Like, is it really look like a bar cabinet or whatsoever?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Because usually washer dryer area is a wet area, right?
Correct.
You won't want it to be in the living area.
Like, it's good. Like, maybe when you take out your clothes from the dryer, then you can continue watching your TV lah. Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I have to go to my kitchen and then take it out and I have to
Yeah.
pause my show.
It's interesting layout concept though.
Mm.
If you look at the other one, this is the other unit for 3-bedders. So this is the one that's located at the corner.
Yep. It's a bit
Likely the one that probably may get some west sun probably into the balcony area.
Yep.
Right? So this is more like a squarish kind of layout.
Yes, correct. So as you can see, okay, so in this sense, you can see living, dining, balcony is all very vertical. Yeah, so you if you were to compare with the previous 3-bedder, you can see that the living and dining is slightly more wider. Yeah, I think with a squarish layout, definitely you can see the position of the master bath is also right in the center of the floor plan lah. So definitely
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Mechanical ventilation, highly likely. Yeah. But I think one interesting thing is that now the AC latch is positioned in a position where you won't see it right in front of you,
Yup.
even if you are staying in bedroom number 2.
Yep.
Because bedroom number 2, you are probably looking out
You'll be
toward the
looking
back of the
into
side plan already.
the
Yeah.
southwest
Yeah,
direction.
southwest. Correct. Southwest direction. Yeah, and the master bedroom, you can see that the walk-in wardrobe or the wardrobe space now is tucked to the corner. Yeah, so if let's say you are someone who you really like a lot of space, I think this is a good utilization of the corner nook of the wardrobe area there. Yeah. Washer dryer is also in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more concealed lah.
Yeah, more concealed.
Versus the original one,
Yeah.
which is like, at this very interesting corner of the living hall space. So this one is like flush along the wall line, so you can do some carpentry work to
Cover it up.
Cover it, yeah.
and all that.
Cover it
Yeah,
up.
so I think it's but I believe there's a reason for them to do that there. I think more towards the technicality of it is
Yeah.
like the drainage, everything
It
can
is,
go
it
right
is,
into the
slightly.
master bathroom lah. But what I see over here is that for a developer I think right now for developers they also have to be in a way very creative in how they want to lay out the unit. Size is getting smaller
Yep.
because land is getting more expensive. So for 3-bedder, the 1012 square feet, for them to put in a household shelter, enclosed kitchen, there will be definitely some space that they will have to compromise to make sure that the rest of the other spaces is more enjoyable or more spacious. So for me personally, I think the only space that they are compromising will be probably the bathroom space lah. Because I realize all the bathrooms are pretty small,
Yep.
but the bedrooms are still in a very decent size. So likelihood they are probably compromising on bathroom sizes or maybe the kitchen sizes just to give a little bit more spaces to the rest of the other living area.
Yeah.
This is the last of the 3-bedder layout, 1023 square feet. This is located on level 1.
Yep.
So you notice on level 1 you have a 3-bedder and a 4-bedder. So this is the one that's on level 1 where it's pretty much similar to what you see earlier on this particular layout, just that you have slightly bigger entrance foyer. So this basically translates to the extra square feet of size.
Yeah.
Right. Well, otherwise, the rest of them is pretty much the same. You get a little door that can leads out to the facilities area from your balcony, whereas for the upper level you don't get it lah. So which is why there's a difference in drawing in terms of what and the size of the table that you can put in the balcony area. So moving on to the 4-bedder, this is the 1238 square feet. I think this is one of the smaller true 4-bedder layout. So
Yeah.
this is located at the other corner of the development. You get 4 bedrooms right here. You get, if I'm not wrong, 3 bathrooms. 2 bathrooms and 1 WC.
Yeah.
Yep, in the kitchen area. But of course, on top of that, the 4-bedder, you do get a storeroom that is right in the kitchen. So I think that's pretty much the different kind of like layout. Oh, actually, it's 3 bathrooms. So you get master bath here, you get bathroom 2
yes, 3
here,
bathrooms, correct. Yeah,
and
3
then
bathrooms.
another ensuite for the bathroom 3.
Yeah.
So this is pretty interesting because usually for a 4-bedder, if you don't get the master and the junior master kind of layout configuration, you will only get a 4-bed, 2-bath configuration in most of the new launches and most of the developments you see. But for this particular layout, you get, I believe this is what they call a junior master lah, because you have an
Likely.
ensuite right here.
Yes.
And it's like a dry and wet
Yeah,
bathroom
very
concept.
unique.
Master bathroom is right here with a day rack, and then this is basically the common bath that serves the 2 bedrooms right over here. So the living quarters, or I would say that the bedrooms are all in one corner. The living area plus the kitchen is at the other side of the house. So it's like a 50-50 split
Yep.
kind of configuration. Right. So now, next one, 4-bedder, 1335 square feet. This is the one, I would say this is the last layout that's on the normal floor, which is like level 2 to level 5. This is the one where you walked in, pretty much like a little foyer area where you walked in and then you get a living. And I would say that this dining hall will be slightly bigger. They envision that you are able to put in like a round table right over here. But otherwise, I think pretty much the same kind of like layout as per the rest. In fact, personally, I like this layout more than the previous
same.
one.
Yeah. I like this layout as well. I mean, of course, you get slightly larger space. That's also reflected, you can see in several parts of the layout. For example, bedroom 3, now the bathroom space, you get a full bathroom, means say now the vanity is in the the WC
Which is
and
this
shower
one,
space. Yeah, correct. That's number 1. I think when it comes to the living and dining, it's quite unique as well. You got the living and dining. Actually, you can play around lah. Yeah, you can play around. And the balcony is great in the sense that it helps to open up the whole
entire
entire
space.
communal space there as well.
Yep.
Yep.
But one thing I realized is that usually when you have things like a particular feature like a walk-in kind of closet, which is like deemed to be more premium kind of like layout, right?
Yeah.
And you tend to have it continuously in that particular unit type. Like if you see a 3-bedder premium, you tend to see it in a 4-bedder, 5-bedder, right?
Correct.
But you realize that in this particular layout of 4-bedder, the master bedroom is very ordinary, so to speak, in terms of wardrobe kind of like design. You just have only one type of wardrobe, or albeit, although it's a bigger one, but you don't have like a double galley kind of side, walking kind of feel. Even for this as well, you don't really get it. I mean, this one, you have a small one over here, there's a little small double galley side, and then plus another wardrobe right over here. But otherwise, this 3-bedder, you get a much bigger wardrobe. So you realize that, now I come to a bigger 4-bedder, 1,335 square feet. But the kind of like experience that I get from a master bedroom is a bit different from the rest of the other unit types. Although I may be able to get a much bigger living hall space, I get a much better layout in terms of storage and a WC, in areas like this. But there is no continuity in terms of like premium feel.
Yep.
So when I'm looking at this floor plan, two things come to my mind. Number one, my washer and dryer is finally in the service yard area. That's number one.
Right over here.
Number two, I feel my only concern is a bit on the bathrooms. First off, my question to the architect would be, why doesn't the master bath door swing inwards so that you get a bit more space in the bathroom? But then your bath too, of course, it cannot swing outwards because of the WC. Why you allow it to be swinging inwards also? Not too sure whether.
Oh, you mean the standing shower area?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
Oh,
So
okay,
like
okay.
if it swings inwards, is there sufficient space for it to entirely swing inwards while you're inside? If you're quite a sizable guy like me, would that be an option? I love it that the living has a backing of full windows. Definitely.
It should be very bright.
I think for all 4-bedders, it's expected you need to have a landscape living. There's this inside joke on TikTok is that you work hard enough so that your sofa don't touch the wall. Yes, which makes a lot of sense. You work hard enough so that your sofa don't touch the wall.
How come I never see that trend?
Maybe because I'm a bit older then you're a bit
Perhaps.
younger.
Perhaps.
But yes, if you realize like your 5-room HDBs, they don't touch the wall. But your 4-room and below all touch the wall.
yeah.
Your normal 3-bedders, they all touch the wall.
That's an interesting trend.
Trying to maximize the space. I think something very unique about the 4-bedder layouts over here is that the master bath actually does not have a natural window.
Something that I just cannot apprehend. I mean, of course, in terms of the architect would have already cracked their brains, try to have the maximized kind of like layout and stuff like that. So, but
Or maybe we should be hired as architects.
I think we cannot. The building looks very weird after that.
Okay. So if you to look at the overall site plan, right? Is because these two stacks or the 4-bedder stacks, right? I mean, the position of the master bath, right, is actually within. More towards
the development.
the development.
Inside,
yeah,
the
it's
development.
like it's actually not positioned outwards,
Right.
Yeah, so I think which
It's
is
a
which
bit
is the main reason
unfortunate.
why. Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit unfortunate. It's not a deal breaker.
it's
so
not
to
definitely
speak.
not a deal breaker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, it definitely, who doesn't want a naturally ventilated kind of like window, right?
yeah. I mean,
Realistically speaking, right, since I've moved into my house, I've never opened my bathroom window.
But you have.
But I have a
circulator fan,
ventilation fan.
Yeah.
Right.
So does that ventilation fan work as well as a one that is enclosed ventilation fan? If it pipes up well, why not?
Yep.
Like
No, I mean usually the indoor circulator kind of fan usually is just to draw out the moisture.
but they probably have a duct outside.
Probably lah.
Yeah. So maybe this we would have to check with the developer also.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the last layout for a 4-bedder.
Yep.
On the first floor as well. So you get in a way like another 50-50 kind of layout lah. So you get 50% of your living space. I mean your bedroom space here, and then your 50% of your living space here. Unfortunately, this one doesn't pass Lyndon's washer dryer check.
We're back to the washer dryer in the living. But at least the sofa doesn't touch the wall.
Yeah, but it's an
One side of
interesting
the sofa
concept
does.
lah. Because this one, I think, they don't have a yard space, so that's the reason why they have it right outside there. But it'll be interesting to see how it looks like. So anyway, we have a couple of renderings of the units. So this is the living balcony space. So you can see that they probably envision it to be like a continuity flow of space from living into the balcony space.
Yep.
This is the service window that we have been talking about, where you basically can just move your food right from your kitchen all the way to the dining table. You have some form of like a privacy screen right here that you can opt in if you want to. It's kitchen, another perspective as well. So this is a service window, as you can see, right? And this is the day rack that you will see in a master bedroom. So usually probably you can hang your towels here, some clothes that you want to get yourself prepared. You can also have it here as well. You realize that the tonality of the color scheme that's being used are very earthy kind of color. This is the kitchen, very earthy dark tone. This is the bathroom, and this is actually a little nook that you will probably find it in the living hall space that probably you can just do up in a little small working area lah. So this is just some of the design elements that they have envisioned, and all these are all artist impressions that they have prepared in the brochure for you. So in terms of price matrix, just a quick sharing. They will be doing a preview in this particular weekend, which is on the, if I'm not wrong, the 7th of May weekend, as of the time of filming. This coming weekend, they will be offering a special launch early bird discount of 15% off the pricing for units that's being booked and sold on the sales preview day. So we are probably about 2 days away from it. So with this 15%, the two-bedder price will start from $1.499, which I will say that let's mark it up to $1.5 million. Three-bedder will probably be from $2 million, and four-bedders will be from $2.44 million onwards. So this is basically from the press release that they have released. If I were to put that into a table comparing the after 5% discount and probably the original pricing, this will be the original PSF that you'll be looking at. But I believe, and I think we believe, the developer is going on a quantum game.
Yep.
Right.
I think it's very interesting because usually on launch you don't get discounts.
Yes.
Majority of the time for...
Usually
so
you don't.
this is I would say a marketing technique also that especially with Joanne trying a new way of different types of lifestyle and all that. So it's trying to get them in because I believe it might be a struggle if, let's say, it doesn't sell out for the weekend, then the later few units selling at the non-discounted price
is around here.
It's quite a hefty difference also. Yeah, so it would, I would say, more or less try garner interest from the public with this.
You're looking at easily about $300,000 to $400,000 of difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's quite a fair bit of difference. But I think largely in a way whereby, in terms of quantum wise, bear in mind that this is a 999 years project. Right. So, I mean, of course, if you look at the PSF, this is generally the PSF that you usually get in a 99 years leasehold in 2024, this year kind of launches. So what they are probably be saying is that, you'll be... Yes, it's true that the unit size becomes smaller. So, I mean, I would say it's more economical sense where the size gets smaller, but they maximize the kind of layout so that when you walked in from the floor plan, I don't think you'll find it to be very claustrophobic. You won't find that it's very small, but yet you'll be able to get like 4 bedders and going in at a quantum of, let's say, even at the original pricing, below $3 million right now. But of course, we have also done a couple of like potential in terms of growth or looking at the numbers around the area. So this is the part where we like to share with you just to get you thinking about like what are the options in that D19 area. We are definitely not short of options. Kovan Enclave, multiple and a lot of small boutique developments.
So this is what I pulled out from the comparisons in that area. Definitely based on the Ballas curve, they are all within the same. Be it freehold, be it 999. We usually don't take that as a difference. The struggle is when we purely look at PSF. So right now we are in an era, right, that you cannot just purely look at PSF. Why? Because number one, sizing has become so much more efficient. I always tell my buyers that when they look at a room, right, if the room is like between, like, sometimes your master bedroom, between 20 to 15 square meters.
A room?
Like your master bedroom.
Okay, right, okay.
Your master bedroom, 20 to 15 square meters. There's no difference. You just get a bit more space to walk around. But you still can fit a king-size bed. You can fit 2 side tables. That's it. Okay? But once you cross that 20 square meters, right, you can start to... But that 20 square meters is maybe in the early 2000s, 2002, 2001, 2000, before the 2003 era. And once you cross that 25 square meters, right, or that 20 square meters, you are able to fit maybe a study table. You are able to fit maybe multiple wardrobes. So what we have gotten in the 2010 era, right, all the way until now, yes, bedroom sizes have shrunk, but generally the things that you put inside, it is still the same.
Yeah, still the same.
Yeah, so we have to bear that in mind. That's why we need to move towards not just a PSF play, but also a quantum play. Because definitely, if we look at this PSF, the best comparison we can see is probably Hubra, which is at maximum 1,721 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the best already, because that is also the newest, because it TOP in 2017.
I think that's the PSF, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
1721 for that PSF. And that's why we have to look towards the quantum. That's why I pulled out also to see what is it really like in terms of quantum also. If we are looking for a 3-bedder, you are looking at about, you have Hubra don't have for a 3-bedder in the last 6 month transaction. But if I see something similar at iSuites at Palm, you're looking at about 1450. Yeah. So the difference we are looking at is at least about 500,000.
Yep.
For something brand new and all that kind of thing. It's really whether you think it's worth to enter in, but that wasn't the gap that we really saw in this area lah. Yeah. Anything you want to...
I think you also got to factor in the distance as well, because when you talk about Kovan Enclave, it's big. Either you really deep inside, so you also depending on which road you are in as well, and the connectivity and the ease of getting out to the main road as well. If I'm not wrong, iSuites is pretty much inside because it's along the Gasglow Road.
Yep.
Right. So I mean, ultimately, there's definitely a disparity between a new launch and a resale in the market, and there's definitely this pricing. And if you look at if you compare the new launch versus the current new launches pricing in the market, of course you have to compare apple to apple in a way.
Yep.
But for the bigger developments wise, I think the PSF wise right now is also about trending around 24, 25 kind of like PSF.
Correct.
Yep.
So that's why I was trying to really understand, like, if I was trying to nitpick and be very objective about this project, and I feel that personally, if I had to buy this project, the gap would be for the 4-bedder, because on the next slide you realize that if we see this is your 3-bedder and 2-bedder options in terms of comparison in the area, it's massive, it's overwhelmed. Maybe you have 26.
This should be Jansen House lah.
Jansen House.
Yeah, right.
Probably it's Jansen House, but you still got at least over, I would say easily 20 to 30 listings available. So that is the struggle when you do want to exit in the future, because you cannot help it. You are a boutique development in a landed enclave. There are other boutiques around you.
Yep.
This is going to be exactly the same if you see in Tanah Merah. Not Tanah Merah, sorry, Marine Parade, during the Kecil side also.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Lorong Kecil and all that kind of thing. That is very normal. So that's why you need to stand out also. Yeah, but if we go to the 4-bedder, the 4-bedder is less than, I would
competitive
say,
lah.
15. And surprisingly, because of the sizes that they have, right, they are
Quantum.
way high. Like Kovan Jewel, 4 million. For Kovan, 4 million. I understand it's 1,009 square feet, but 4 million. Even Kovan Residence, 3 million for 1,000.
Kovan Jewel is a new one, right?
Yeah, but wow, 4 million.
4 million.
And if I can get a 4-bedder there, of course, at 1,003, 1,002 square feet, at about 2.5 million during the launch. I look at Kovan Melody, 200 square feet more. They will probably get a bigger foyer, you get slightly bigger living room, your bedroom sizes are a bit, that's why it adds up to that 200 square feet. And that is a 99, and you're getting it at 2.56.
Right. But I think Kovan Melody surprises everyone in terms of location lah.
Correct. Yeah. Definitely location is key also. But if we are looking for quantum and all that kind of thing, so like I said, that 200 square feet difference, right, can mean not an additional bedroom, but a bigger foyer, a slightly bigger living, slightly bigger bedrooms, giving you a bit more space to walk around. But you're not going to be able to put anything additional into here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to focus on that. And that would be the gap that I feel also in this area. Because ultimately, if you're buying it into a freehold, I don't think you're going to flip it. You're probably going to stay for at least a minimum of 10 years.
Likely lah.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just going in and then just going to stay for another 3-5 years and just moved on. So I think bearing all this in mind, even looking at the pricing that is before the discount, before I would say maybe say the normal kind of pricing, let's take it as $2.9 million, for example. For a 4-bedder, this is basically a 999 years pricing. So this is something that you have to bear in mind comparing to all these available options that's available. I think that definitely when you go to 4-bedders, there's only 9 units available. 3-bedders, there's also only 9 units available within Jansen House. It's very, very small targeted. And likely you only be targeting people who probably who likes maybe Mackley projects.
Yep.
Maybe they are Mackley customers, returning customers, and they want to go for something that is small and brand new, that's what you mentioned. So you get the kind of like first mover advantage kind of like feeling. But all in all, I believe that for small boutique development, you will definitely also have its own target audience. But as much as possible, we will definitely like big developments because of that kind of like movement and more of that assurance that price appreciation is there in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think in summary, number one, if you are a Coven fan and you just want lifestyle, it could be considered. Definitely is considering during the launch because of the discounted rate. Number two, the only gap maybe personally I see would be in the 4-bedders. Yeah, that could have that potential, but I really cannot stand the washer dryer in the living.
Unless you go for that one particular layout where
Which
you
is
have that
1-2.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, which is 1-2.
But otherwise, 3-bedders, 2-bedders, we definitely see a lot of competition. So when you want to exit in future, you will definitely be vying against those resale in the markets that may potentially be also wanting to move on at a much lower pricing.
Correct.
Yeah. So with that, I think we have come to the end of our review for Jansen House. I mean, it's a small boutique developments, definitely has its merits, its beauty in terms of the design. When you look at the kind of like features that they put in, like the balcony space, in terms of the whole entire kitchen and the balcony kind of like continuity, kind of like flow of the design. The bathrooms with the day rack, in fact in the living hall area, minus away the washer dryer. I think that's something that it probably will attract the kind of like very niched, maybe for the younger lifestyle driven kind of like buyers who likes this kind of like very efficient layout design. Let's even look just at the 2-bedders is already very efficiently layout in terms of dumbbell layout, household shelter, balcony, and all this kind of stuff is all there already. So I think this is I would say pretty nice thought from a developer. And if you are interested to find out more, definitely you can reach out to any of our sales consultants. Ramzi, any last closing words?
Pretty much, I think just to summarize, I think when you're looking at boutique projects, brand new, definitely, I mean, first and foremost, if you're a fan of the area, then definitely this is something that you will want to consider as well. Especially if you're looking to, your runway, you're not more of an investor, more your runway is longer, slightly, maybe 8 to 10 years, maybe you want to bring your family over here to stay, enjoy the environment, enjoy the amenities that Coven actually presents itself, then definitely this is something to consider.
Or you may want to stay near your parents as well. Maybe your
True.
parents are staying in the Coven enclave and you
which
move
is
out, but you still want to stay.
actually quite common. Which is actually quite common.
Quite common.
I mean, because there are families who also the parents will usually buy certain units for them or certain projects for them so that for their kids, so that when they grow up they just stay there, still stay near the parents and
Plus
stuff.
it's 999 years lah.
Yeah,
So it makes
correct.
sense for them to add that into their portfolio for the kind of like assets or even the passing down to the next generation.
Yeah.
Right. So I think with that, thank you very much for staying with us for this Jansen House kind of studio review of this particular development. So please look out for our show flat tour, which is going to come up very soon. And with that, we've come to the end of this series. Thank you very much for liking our content. So if you like what we have shared, follow us on our PLB Insights channel and looking forward to the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.